they'll come through.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the August 3rd meeting at the Town of Standish Planning Board. The meeting will now come to order. This is a public proceeding, and unless the board specifically votes to go into executive session, you have the right to hear everything that is being said and to look at all the exhibits that are offered. Please notify me if you are unable to hear or see the materials. The board works from a prepared agenda, and this evening we have approval of the previous meeting minutes for the July 6th meeting. We have one approval of finding of facts for S. Todd Foss, which is the welding shop, map 5, lot 57. We have one item of old business, which is Westerly Way for a 3-lot subdivision. And we have just a miscellaneous item at the end. And we have a full quorum this evening. So all 7 members are here. Thank you all. First of all, I'd like to take opportunity to thank Jackie. She's certainly done a lot of things for the town and supported us very well. Appreciate all the work you've put into it.
How many years, Jackie? Because someone asked, 15? Okay. That is not a small amount.
Thank you.
Congratulations. And Andrew brought flowers, like, you know, way to go.
And then Tina Stickney will be coming and joining us this evening and in the future, so welcome, Tina.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, Tina.
Yeah, Tina, raise your hands. We
We'll apologize first.
I'm not.
All right.
You're not.
Okay, the first item of business is the approval of the previous meetings for the July 6th meeting.
Make a motion, Mr. Chair, that we approve the minutes from July 6th as presented.
Second that.
Been moved and seconded to approve the minutes for the July 6th meeting. Discussion by the board. Seeing none, all those in favor? Unanimous. Very good, thank you. Second item is the finding of facts for the S. Todd Foss for his welding shop. This was for a 14 by 40 or 16 by 40 addition that we approved. It appeared to match the minutes. So a motion to approve.
Make that motion. I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded to approve the finding of facts. Further discussion by the board? Seeing none, all those in favor? Unanimous. And the next item of, oh yes, I have to sign. I get to use your pen. Very nice.
Start taking bets on how long.
This is 8/3/26. There you go. Thank you.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I'm going to recuse myself from this next discussion as I'm a joint member of one
Okay, thank you. In case anybody didn't hear that, Sean stepped down because he's a employee of St. Joe's. First item of old business, Westerly Way, 3-lot subdivision. Mr. Seymour, would you run through what we've done since the last meeting?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Board members, my name is Jim Seymour, civil engineer from Sebago Technics, representing, I'll get the name right here, 7631 Mason Landing LLC, also May Meadow Builders Incorporated. We're here tonight to hopefully get through the final pieces of this 3-lot subdivision. We've been waiting a long time for the Maine DEP Site Location of Development Act revision approval, which I believe you should have a copy of now. And with that, they approved the phosphorus export. We did have a little bit of dialogue with LJB, your town engineer, about some of the buffers and how the water from, I'll call it the third leg of the road. This piece, how that entered the buffer. We did adjust the grades so that that water from that 12-foot wide section of private backlot driveway could sheet flow into that buffer and be better absorbed into that buffer as shown on the plan. I believe, Scott, we did get a letter from them saying they were acceptable to that, given the fact that it's a very minor access to those two front lots. DP site location, we regraded the road. We did add a note as requested by LJB as well, referencing the license number and the transfer license. This one was a little complicated because, as you well know, that parcel was sold by St. Joe's to this ownership. And with it came conditions of the site location, but also as part of that, we had to get a transfer license agreement in place. So that has been executed as well. So both of those are referenced on the plan. And the final piece that we added was, per request of the Public Works Director, we computed a road impact fee to Whitesbridge Road based on town planned improvements of $800,317.67 for paving and grinding. Our contribution would be $7,332.40, which I've talked to the ownership and they're agreeable to that fee. I think that pretty much summarizes everything that we changed on the plan. There is one item which has come up, which is the setback from the lake itself, from the two lots that have frontage on the lake. I don't know if it's a misconception, but that is actually not a buffer, that's actually a setback. And we did add a note to the plan saying that if any activity happened within that, there'd have to be reapproval from the town and from the main DEP. If they could go in there, they could get an NRPA permit or something if they so choose, but that would be on them individually to do so. So again, I think they wanted us to pin that setback. I'll leave it with the board and what their preference is. Typically, we don't pin setbacks, it just sometimes can add confusion. But I did, like I said, add a note to the plan stating that if they did any activity within that, that's subject to town review for shoreland zoning and DEP for setbacks from the lake. And the other option could be, if the concern is impacting too much, is that depending on where they put those homes, those are just our best guesses. We could get a certified survey letter stating that the buffer has been staked prior to any excavation or foundation work. So with that, I'll leave it to the board for any questions.
On the grading plan, I noticed that the grading extends into that 100-foot strip beyond. I do have a copy of that. Yes, go ahead, sorry. Small section of it. My proposal, if we go forward with this, is to revise condition number 8, that those setback pins be put in prior to occupancy permit, so that there's any excavation grading work within that 100-foot. Doesn't make any sense to put them in, have them ripped out, and then they're not there for the owner's benefit.
Yeah, and that grading can be pulled back. That was just kind of a landing area coming between those two homes. That can be pulled up and away from the 100.
It's like a little pondage area there.
Yeah, a little depression, and capture any runoff before it goes in.
It's not a big impact, it's very minimal.
We can put that back outside the 100 foot.
Doesn't make any sense to put those pins in until.
Absolutely, no, and that, or the other thing could be, there'd have to be pins, there's gonna be a lot of boulders there, they could even build something, a wall of rocks or something to clearly delineate that, but typically those pins are typically a little bit smaller than the property pins that we use.
Just enough so you can delineate that they're not a property pin.
Right.
I'm sorry, Charlie, I'm not sure I understand. You want it pinned or not before this
Well,
gets approved? Because,
LJB has recommended it. In our
Yeah.
condition 8, I think it was,
Yeah, it was one of
staff
yours.
suggested we put it
Yeah,
in there.
number 8.
yes, okay.
And so I'm saying the time to do it is after the construction's done, get them in there so that the owners then will have the benefit of it. To set them and have them ripped out during construction doesn't do anybody any good other than the backhoe. Makes good targets. That's
Oh.
what keeps surveyors busy.
Yeah, that is
the intention of these is for the long term in terms of tree clearing and any other work that the future owners would do. Certainly the construction, usually it's staked and we get the code officer out to check on it, like that part's, there's more eyes on, it's future
So,
work, so that
Where
it's-
this, sorry, Scott, but where this is an irregular line, how far apart do we want those pins? Because this is not a straight line.
I was
across.
just expecting the property, where they intersect the property lines.
Okay.
So that there is some reference for the town to go in without having to get a whole new survey done on where on the ground these are, and now.
The shoreline can change.
Fight over the exact location in the future, at least it gives us a reference point, some knowledge that someone can point to on the ground, that this plan references a 100-foot setback, and this is what it is.
I'd say if it was set at the corners of the building envelope, that would be 2 per lot.
Yeah, what I had shown on your sketch tonight, would be, I had one at the building setback, side setback, and both side setbacks. Then we could do the same.
Yeah,
I
that
probably
works.
wouldn't put it in the setback, Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I'd probably put it on the edge of those wetlands.
DEP gonna require those to be marked?
No.
Yeah,
That makes
That
sense.
works, then they'll be even more visible.
Yeah,
So you want it at the side setback. And
at the lot corners and
Yeah, and
further.
there's one that's on the lot corner now anyway, so then.
I mean, I don't have a preference whether it's a big boulder, as long as it's marked somehow that they know where it is. A pin is distinguishable. We got a lot of rocks on that side of town.
Thank
Lot of
Mother
rocks
Nature for
anywhere
that.
Anybody decides to blast, near as I can tell.
All right. Members of the, oh, Scott, excuse me. Would you like to add anything?
And that 100-foot is the only thing left, really, that we just covered that. Everything else, this most of the board knows, this project's been a long time coming. And it has been through a lot of reviews from a lot of eyes, and I think we finally got all of those done and settled and built, designed to the specifications needed. We've got everything that I think we need.
Members of the board, questions, thoughts?
Don't have any others.
Just quick, because I'm still new at this.
Yes,
So these proposed building envelopes are basically that. They won't get any closer, but,
For the purposes of stormwater calculations, we made an assessment on parking lot and building sizes. To your point, they can't go closer. I mean, they could nudge a little bit closer, but from a constructability standpoint, that's about as close as we felt comfortable. Charlie, Mr. Brown said,
they could be moved.
yeah, they could be moved back outside the shoreline zone even if they decide, but I believe the preference of most of the
Yeah.
owners is to get as close to that.
Can't imagine
beautiful view
paying
as
for
they can.
that, paying that much for it and not having it as close to the water as allowable.
And the configuration of that building may change, but the overall surface areas would have to be compliant to what we've shown.
Okay, and those are, I'm looking to see square,
I believe they're in our stormwater report, so.
Yeah.
It couldn't exceed 20% lot coverage in that shoreline zone portion.
yeah, okay. Thank you.
anyone else? Seeing none, is there a motion to open this to the public?
I'll make a motion to open this up for a public hearing.
Also, can I,
That's not the public, that's my phone. Sorry.
That's okay.
anyone from the public that would like to speak, please go to the podium and give us your name and address.
My name is Terry Basha. I'm on a butter to Lot 3. And I just have a question. The specialized wetland zone, I know you can't construct in that area, but can you clear cut the trees?
So, sorry, there's no microphone though.
It's above you in the ceiling.
Oh, okay, now you tricked me. No, that's a wetland protected area. Without permits, they cannot get any, they cannot disturb or cut anything within that. So they, same as the setback from the lake, they'd have to get a permit from the DEP or from Army Corps of Engineers.
Any more questions, ma'am?
Was that 50 or 60 feet across there, Jim?
Oh, at least.
At least.
Probably on that corner to her lot, it's probably 100, 80 to 100 at the narrowest, and maybe up to 120, 130.
So it's a good sized piece.
And currently fully treed?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and again, that's within the shoreline zone, so again, any tree disturbance, you know, would be subject to the town's review as well.
Okay, anyone else like to speak?
And make a motion then, Mr. Chair, to, in a sense, close for public hearing.
Seconded? I'll second that.
Say all.
Further discussion by the board? Seeing none, all those in favor? Unanimous, one abstain. All right, going down through the staff's review. First thing we need to do, we've already addressed the issue about the road, the preliminary, so we don't have to address that. We need a motion to move forward, which says that we find the application for Wesley Way residential subdivision as submitted by Sebago Technics complete as presented.
Mr. Chair, I make such a motion.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded to find the application for the Wesley Way residential subdivision as submitted by Sebago Technics complete as presented. Discussion by the board. Seeing none, all those in favor? Unanimous with one abstained. Okay, we can go down through the criteria. I will say under fire prevention, we've covered that under condition number 5. And we just talked about well, we didn't talk about the property pins as it's under 18197, but it's condition number 3. And I just mentioned would be granted a waiver on the roads within the subdivision, and that was done at preliminary stage, and then so that's all I saw. And then we have the recommended motion with 9 conditions, and we talked about number 8 being the 100-foot setback from saying shall be permanently marked on the ground with pins, and that's, I guess that'll be coordinated with the code enforcement officer as to where those exact locations are. That makes sense.
Yeah, I think,
Right, occupancy permit,
I think the setbacks, property line, like I said, the edge of the wetlands on that one lot,
makes sense.
give you plenty of visibility to know where that line is.
So that's
We'll show
just
that.
4 pins, basically.
Yeah, and we'll show it on the final plan for you, so.
Very good. You want me to read through all that? I will just read the motion. Recommended by staff. Move that the planning board grant approval under the provisions of the Standish Land Use Code of the Wesley Way residential subdivision as submitted by Sebago Technics, having found it to meet the review criteria of Chapter 181, Part 3, subdivision regulations, all other relevant standards of the local ordinances, and the requirements of Title 30A, Chapter 187, subsection 4404 of the Maine State Statutes for subdivision review, with the exception of subsection 181-97C, frontage and access may not be provided over private ways, which was waived as allowed under subsection 181-107B, and with the following conditions. And those are the 9 I referenced. I'd be glad to read them if you want me to.
Make a motion that we waive the reading of the 9 conditions, Mr. Chair.
Second to waive the reading of the conditions. Further discussion by the board? Seeing none, all those in favor? Very good. Again. Approved with 1. And then,
Now we just have to approve the motion.
yes. So someone would like to move to approve it as read and with the conditions.
Make a motion to approve, in a sense, the motion as read with the 9 conditions.
And I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded to approve the motion. Further discussion by the board? Seeing none, all those in favor? Unanimous, one abstained. Very much.
Thank you.
Hand off when you get it stubbed up. We'll get it signed. Very good. Right. And we have no new business. The only item we have is a request by a board member to have a workshop. And Scott, if you'd like to enlighten us.
Yeah, Frankie just emailed me, in here this morning, just about whether you might be interested in having a workshop, just to check in with the board about how things are going, what ordinances the town are working on, and just updates on things and things like that. And I think that's always a good idea to do once in a while, and it's been probably 2 years since we did something like that, so I think it's warranted if the rest of the board's interested.
When it would be like the third Monday of the.
So, I mean, that would be what we discuss here to make sure people are around. Typically, our workshop meetings are the third Monday of the month. If we wanted to do it in August, that would be the 17th. And it does appear to be, this room is free that day on the calendar. Best I can figure.
And that's just a joint workshop.
It would just be a workshop, just this board here to discuss, make sure there's anything you want to see us work on in the coming year. Talk a little bit, I sent an email out a week or two ago about the process we're going to be looking at, trying to involve the board a little more in the ordinance changes going forward, so we can talk a little bit about that if you're interested. Get some updates on some things that are in the works, and just general touch base, make sure everything's working for everybody.
If I could read what I sent Scott.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I was thinking it was time to have a strategy session for the planning board. So I wrote down about 5 or 6 items here that I'll read through. It doesn't have to be all of them, but it's what came to mind. It would be a good thing to discuss. So the first item that I had was, as I was directing this to Scott, your thoughts for key discussion points for the planning board. What does he think that should be discussed? Second item that I had was a discussion of future large projects in the works. Are there any developers that are ready to give us a preview? So what's coming down that is the right time to talk about? Any topics the town staff would like to discuss with the planning board? Possibly have special guests, a town manager, a chairman of the town council, a public works director even. Discuss the top ordinance changes in the last X months affecting the planning board. Summary of the top changes in the new comprehensive plan worth discussing. How should the planning board members process the changes in the most recent comprehensive plan? Reinforce top rules and regulations affecting planning board members, for example. Not to discuss agenda items outside the planning board meeting. Not to swap emails about this or that that's on the agenda of the planning board. Freedom of Information Act. Whatever the topic is, we should be aligned on what we should or should not do as far as our behavior goes. Create an updated ordinance notebook documenting all pertinent ordinances for all planning board members. So something that we can reference that is updated. And what else? Anyway, those are some of the topics that I thought would be worth talking about, and the fact that we haven't had a meeting like this for a little while. And there are new members of the board. Anyway, I was bored one evening, and I was just thinking about things. What might be a benefit to the planning board going forward? Anyway.
Thank you, appreciate it.
That was my 2 cents.
Relative to the last one, I still have the book from 10 years ago, and these are the supplements. So probably would be nice. When they redid this stuff, and I heard somewhere in the last
Sure,
week
it's
or
not
so
talking
that
about-
somebody just
No, it's not.
updated the ordinance book.
Ideas, I like that one.
So I've been planning on getting you all a new, like a brand new hard copy ordinance, but I've been waiting for the changes that were voted on a couple months ago to get final language to hit the books so that we have all that and we're not issuing you more supplements a couple weeks later after you get the books. So hopefully in the next month or so, we'll have those for you.
3 reminders so we can slip the new stuff in instead of the
Well, I'll
GBS.
talk to Jackie and Tina before Jackie leaves about how the best way to get that to you is.
And when they did the update, did they separate the stuff?
That's it.
So it doesn't just run on and on and on, like rural residential is different than village, and they like,
I mean, well, it's still a code book. Like but it'll, I mean, it won't be quite all of the stuff that I have in here, but it'll be most of that.
I could live with that.
is he?
And just going back to something that we discussed after the last meeting, that map that shows the watersheds would be a nice addition for, just
Yeah.
for, you know, for a visual, because it's not always clear exactly where, you know, a sign here says you're entering the watershed, but the watershed doesn't really start until a little, you know, further down the road. So just to have a map of reference as part of all of our other stuff would, and ordinances, I think would be helpful. I'm the visual one. I need hard copy. I need maps in front of me to understand what I'm
That was a nice
trying
map.
to figure, but thank you.
Anyone else have thoughts? Good idea, bad idea? Up for it?
Charlie, can I go?
Absolutely.
John Cross, Public Works Director. I just wanted to let you know that we're working with LJB on a new street construction standards. Some stuff that's come up from last road acceptance with Cider Mill, definitions and stuff like that. And I think that planning board should be involved in this process at some point. So some of the past issues that came up is like a definition of a hammerhead. Our ordinance doesn't have that. You know, obviously we would try to make it work, but we need to get some more definitions in there. Our construction standards are somewhat old, as the LJB says it. I mean, they're good standard, but it's changed a little bit. Some issues with sidewalks. Currently, we are very vague in Cider Mill. Just went through, or they didn't actually, they went to a workshop to discuss issues. And I'm here to tell you what some of the issues are about it, is it came up that their slopes going in the driveway are not ADA compliant. We're not saying it wasn't built to plan. It's built to plan, but the town accepts the liability if the town were to accept that. Just some stuff for you guys to think about as you're in the design stages with this future acceptance stuff that's coming down that we're having to deal with later, I guess.
Yeah, I've noticed a bunch of stuff around town, like road radiuses.
Yeah.
Project's still into construction and the vehicle tires are outside the pavement, breaking it down already.
Right.
Yeah, so
So it's just something I think that,
turnarounds with a fire truck or a big tractor trailer's got to back into, they don't work.
right.
Radiuses are too tight on them.
So we're working towards that, but I think it's something that you guys should be made aware of, that you're probably gonna see something coming down with that in the near future.
You know, have to get rid of my Peter Tub details.
Is he?
One other thing that came up at that workshop was the, you know, besides the changes in the expectations, and we didn't really ask this latest development, people are coming, or developers seem to be coming into developments with the expectation that eventually the town's going to accept those roads. And that wasn't the mindset, or hasn't been the mindset previously that we've aware of. You know, it's been a process. And I thought that was something that I thought was a light bulb.
This,
That this seems to be the mindset of more developers coming in and expecting that it won't take that long, perhaps, that their goal is to get those accepted by, the roads accepted for town maintenance, and
There's no
we get a saturation point.
There's no obligation for the town to accept a road, because it's taking on all the liability for accepting the road. And that's based on the council and the way they feel, if they did. I had a counselor tell me this weekend, is there a way that we can be more proactive by saying there's a likelihood of roads not being accepted unless there's connectivity to it, of that. But again, our plans state, that we have, I don't remember the exact wording, Scott, but not accepted until.
Yeah, I mean, there's no obligation on the town's part legally or through the planning board process that would make them accept a road as a
What
public road.
motivation do they use to accept a road?
Sorry?
What criteria do they use to accept a road?
I mean, it's gotta be, there's a whole ordinance in here.
No, I understand that, but
Covers it.
what's the difference between some roads and other roads?
I mean, frankly, the town, unlike the planning board, which the quasi judicial, we have to follow the rules exactly. The council can make decisions based on how they feel. And when it comes to road acceptance, they have to make a finding that it is in the town's interest to accept a road, is the language in the ordinance. And some councils will say, well, it's in the interest of the taxpayers living on that road, and therefore it is in the town's interest. And some councils will say that it is almost never in the town's interest to adopt a road if it is not doing something important to the whole town.
Sure.
It's very much dependent on the council.
And the difference in length of road, I mean, we're talking about Cider Mill versus Nature's Way. Huge differences.
So
Huge.
there's going to be a new process that was just talked about at the workshop, which you will see eventually with wording as an ordinance change that's going to this coming council meeting, that for road acceptance, they'll have to be submitted a letter of intent by the second week of January, and that's more for budgeting purposes, because depending on the amount of roads that we're accepting or possibility of accepting makes a difference on my budget and other things that the town goes through, meaning snow removal and of that nature. And then right now, our current ordinance only says we only accept roads in July. So now it will be, you have to submit, there's like certain things that has to be done, an as-built, all the monumentation has to be done, everything has to be done, and that has to be done 90 days with the new wording, 90 days prior to the agenda that counts the month they want to get on, correct? Or submitted.
That's where we left it, yeah.
Yeah, that was a recommendation by the town attorney. So.
Okay, I'm gonna ask another stupid question. My understanding has been, from what little I've been involved, that the roads have to be up to town standards.
Correct.
But when I drive down Cider Mill, I wasn't really
Well, that's part of the issue.
impressed that that was the same standard as some of the other subdivisions. And, you know, I live on a main road, so I've got a whole different understanding from personal experience, but town standards should be town standards, I thought. I thought it was a set width and all that other stuff.
Variations.
And
Based on
and be
the-
based on the form-based, based on the
This code
form-based
has its
code.
own
Yeah.
subsections, but even within the town, there's different
Different
classifications,
variations.
terms on a main road versus a local road.
Arterial versus town avenue versus,
It's a few different
Okay,
ways.
so just for a development, it's not a standard for any housing development?
say if it's a
not standard.
town avenue road, same standard.
It's gotta be built to the standards in the book.
Okay.
And those standards are not exactly the same for every single.
And
road.
that project went through
Because
in
of the
2018 as well, and I'm not sure what changes or not changes since 2018.
There's been a few.
So,
Thank you.
I have one comment. Having watched that meeting on TV, and I'm sure it was more complicated than what I'm boiling it down to, but the one thing that I heard that I thought was a travesty was everyone's mailbox is in the way.
that's correct.
All the
So,
rocks and flowers and shit that
so the way that development is,
folks put in their yard, it's like, That to me is very basic. The contractor, all that stuff should be in the deeds. You can't do that. So now 3 or 4 years later go by, and everyone's done their thing in their yard, and now the road can't get accepted.
So
I thought that was kind of a crappy thing.
the ordinance has been in there since,
Read their deeds.
No.
the ordinance as far as mailbox and landscaping have been in there since 1998. As far as the ordinance that was developed in there. We tried to work with the developer and say, you're still the owner of this land, because the way that development was designed is it's a 22-foot roadway with curb on each side. So then you have catch basins along the curb. I'm assuming you watch, sorry what I'm following about. So to be able to make the catch basins work properly, we have to get the snow above the curb. So meaning we have to shelf the snow above the curb. So in the design plan for that, they added a 10-foot additional easement because of that, because of the snow storage. And with the mailboxes and landscaping, we're unable to do that. So it creates, again, further, as I want to say, costs to the taxpayers, because we're going to be the ones maintaining when it freezes up in the roadway, when the catch basins aren't working, stuff like that, so.
And along with that, mail delivery, the post office has their own standards, I thought, for.
Towns can be more strict, so ours is more strict than,
Yep.
they said they went to the post office on that, but we have a more strict policy
Okay,
than what post office is.
so we've got two.
A simple-minded person, but if it takes 66 feet, why do a 46 with two 10-foot easements? Why not just make it a 66-foot right-of-way? Then the
That was
town
done
owns and controls it.
That was done in 2018. It's a very small building envelope.
I hope LJB looks at that and says, this is not very, I mean, if you
This
got to
figure
be
is
ditching in
important for
that
you
10
guys to
feet,
hear about what's
it's
going
going to be
on.
scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Got some work to do.
Thank you.
Question for him. Curving, what is existing in that place now? Granite or tile?
Hey, could you just come up here? Because I don't know how far the mic usually picks you up because you're loud enough, but just say your question again.
I want to know the curbing that they have there now, is it granite or tile?
Slip concrete, isn't it?
It's concrete, yes.
They said some of it's damaged now,
Counselor Macri was saying that, yeah.
so
It's gonna be a lot.
what
of
is
work.
cheaper to fix if we take over the road? Is it tile or is it the cement or which one? Because I thought it was granite, so I kind of got the impression that it was granite and there was some edges broken away, which could be dangerous for a kid hitting on a bike, riding along, fall or something. So safety wise, I have kind of a concern about that. What's best and easiest for the town to replace?
Zero.
So, well,
No curbing.
zero curb, and that's part of the stuff that. when
So
I
I'm just
come up here
saying,
and say-
so I just don't want to have the town take over expense. That's, we shouldn't be taking on.
Expense
But
and
also
liability.
about the setback that Frank was talking about, I would like to see the contractor responsible to go and mark where they're supposed to be marking now back, instead of John, Public Works or anything like that, go down and say, well, this is the easement, because they're gonna come back and say, oh, well, we thought we was 25, but you're 22, and you're still not back far enough. So I think the contractor should make sure the landowners know where they can go, where the easement stops to a point, because it's already existing now, and we have a problem. I don't know how you could
That'd
do
be
it.
code enforcement when they're doing the inspection work, I would think.
Yeah, that's up.
So,
But I'm just saying,
that's an
yeah.
interesting concept.
I just don't wanna see them put it again closer than what they're supposed to and go back through this whole thing again. And it should be taken care of one time only. So
I
they
think
have
if you check a single axle dump truck with a wing on it, you need like 35 feet of pavement for them to stay in the pavement. They make their turn. Am I close?
Mhm.
Yeah. And we got 5 feet now.
So,
I know if I lived there, if I had a house inside a mill, I'd be jumping up and down, because if my house was there for 3 or 4 years and all of a sudden they said I can't have my mailbox, I can't have my beautiful rocks and flowers after 4 years have gone by, I'd have to understand that that's
It
it.
sounded like they wanted this road acceptance really bad, that they were gonna move
Yeah.
anything,
Right.
because they're paying an HOA
It shouldn't have come.
right now
to us.
to
It shouldn't come to
plow
us
it and
after 4 years, that's right, 3 or 4 years. Anyway,
They really want that.
We're getting a little in the weeds here.
I know. That just shows everybody has an interest.
We're off the shoulder.
But, yeah. So I don't know, was there any, I think,
Get started.
if anyone has anything else they'd wanna talk about that I might wanna prep something for, feel free to tell me now, or email me in the next week or so.
August 17th,
Yeah, and we gotta, yeah, is everyone available August 17th?
6 o'clock,
Yes.
6 PM.
6 p.m.
So unless someone wants to change it, that's the default.
Tina, is it okay for you?
Yes.
All right.
Thank you for
See,
checking.
by the way, since Jackie, I was scolded about the fact of, reminding myself that, like, I didn't bring flowers, but, we should have asked you in the
That's
past.
okay.
Well, now you have August 17th.
Yeah,
I mean,
Check my
you
social calendar.
guys don't always come to the workshops, so.
no,
I've never been to a workshop.
that's what I'm saying. I'm sorry, I was just trying to establish the thing. You can come. Sorry.
Okay, like I say, if anybody has anything else they wanna talk about, or any questions they have for me, feel free to shoot me an email and I'll get a bunch of stuff together for us to talk about.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Been moved and second to adjourn. Further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, adjourn.
All right.
Unanimous,